Hey everybody, I'm not feeling very well right now. I've been working on editing this video about having trouble concentrating and I'm in pain. So this is my intro and my outro. I hope you enjoy my how I do coffee enemas video, and thank you for watching. How I make my morning coffee, aka for an enema, is with 1/2, and usually I do like a little scoop more of the coffee. Then I don't fill a pot completely full with water because it doesn't boil as fast, and I don't want it to boil over because that's happened a few times. Put it on the highest heat this little pot can handle with the cover on for usually 5 minutes, and then it starts to boil pretty good. Before it simmers, I add in more water now that I got it boiling. I forgot to do it before it boiled for 5 minutes, but you can do it either way if you want it to boil faster. Since this is a concentrated version of making the coffee, I will add probably 1.5 cups of this. This is a 1/2 cup scoop to a pitcher, and then fill the rest with water. I set the timer for 30 minutes because you don't want your coffee sitting out too long because it does lose its potency. And just move it off of the hot burner and let it sit there to cool off a little bit before I set it on a towel in the refrigerator. Now this is where my enemas greatly differ from a lot of other people who do enemas. They use, I don't even know what the size is, like a few liters or something of coffee at a time, and they put the tube in and do it that way. I found that doing small enemas works better for me, and I just do them multiple times through the day, and I know that there's other people that do this as well. I just found out that this is what works for me. I have a Fleet brand enema. This is a 7.8 ounce. This is the biggest size that they make. And I just dump out that fluid and rinse it with purified water to make sure I get all that solution that's in there out. And then I take the coffee and fill that up with purified water in this pitcher. That also cools off the coffee so that it's not too hot for the plastic, because that is something that I worry about. So I make it so that it's like usually a little less than body temperature, and put in cool water in the bottle first. It's the solution, and then I'll rinse it out with the purified water. Just a little bit of purified water so it's not too hot. And then fill it with the coffee, and then it usually takes me about 2 or 3 of these bottles before like I get through. If I heat it up on the stove and it's really hot and I heat up a lot of the coffee, then I have to put a lot of water in, you know, like I'll put sometimes like half as much water in. So then I'll end up with like 5 of these. So it's still the same amount of coffee that you're putting in your body, it's just a little bit more watered down, and that is what's going to cycle through your liver and detox you. Now I have my body trained, and I usually can empty out my bowels before I actually do the enema, which will allow your colon to have more space to absorb everything and not be mixed up with the toxins that are already in there. So it's easier to do it that way. And for people who are concerned about it causing you to go to the bathroom, and family members might be concerned that it is like being used as a overused oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? Laxative. It's not a laxative. I mean, coffee, when you drink it, can become a laxative, but I have not found it to be a laxative at all. Usually when I actually like expel the enema, it is just coffee that comes out. And because I have intestinal parasites, a lot of times I'll be worms with it, but there's really nothing else that comes out with it. that's pretty much it because my colon is empty. So as you're starting, obviously it's not going to be that way, but I usually do it about the same time every morning, so my body is pretty much trained to do so. So then I lay with it in for 15 minutes on my right side, and during that time it cycles through your liver 5 times, 3 minutes for each cycle to your blood to go through your entire body. And each time it passes through your liver, and your colon has a direct route to your liver. So colon goes to liver, liver filtering your blood from your whole body, and each filtration cycle takes 3 minutes. And sometimes I get so comfortable that I actually just fall asleep with an enema. And sometimes I can't hold it for 5 minutes. It just depends on the day. And don't, worry if you can't hold it for the right amount of time in the beginning. It's definitely going to be harder to hold it than it will be after you gain some muscle control and your body gets used to what's going on. Because, yeah, it's kind of weird at first. I'm going to admit it. I did not like doing the big enema. I honestly was, and still, am, I don't have a lot of energy. I'm so tired having to wash it out every time, having to, lay on the bathroom floor, when I'm hurting and my body's really tender and sore, is not comfortable, even if you're laying on towels or whatever. And when you're first doing it, you don't have the control, and you're, doing it by yourself. Actually a lot of people have somebody in there helping them, but I was doing it by myself, and it was really difficult. And so I found that doing it the way that I do it now through the enema bottles is not the most eco-friendly way to do it. I feel really bad about using all the plastic bottles. That just seems to work for me. So everybody's gonna have something different. You're gonna figure out what works for you the best. And one more thing, I've been doing this for a couple years now. And so on and off, not throughout, when I'm doing any kind of treatment, I do it. So my body has kind of gotten used to it. This isn't something that happened overnight. In the beginning, it wasn't that way. I would do an enema with colon sometimes because that's how you start to train your body. So it'll start to, your brain and your bowels will connect and know okay, we're doing an enema, we're gonna have to go to the bathroom, and they'll start sending signals that okay, it's time to go before I do this. It's kind of crazy how it works, but that is what happens.